Hello, everyone. I am Brandon Wynn.
I'm Kalvin.
Yeah, sorry, I'm like really messed up right now. Welcome to Bastions and Basilisks.
There it is.
We
I
were
was like,
going, yeah, I was like going to introduce us first. This is going to be the episode on the wizard. I am apparently messing up everything, but yeah, we're going to discuss the wizard in its core class, not any of its archetypes. So I'm just going to go straight into it. The hit dice of the wizard is a 1d6. Proficiencies, they are not proficient in any armor. The weapons they are proficient in are the daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, inlight crossbows. They are not proficient in any tools. Saving throws are intelligence and wisdom. And they can choose two of the following skills to be proficient in, which are arcana, history, insight, investigation, medicine, and religion. There's starting equipment, blah, blah, blah. They obviously get spell casting and cantrips. They have to have a spell book, which, if I'm correct, they're the only class that has to have some sort of thing to write their actual spells in, right?
correct.
Okay, I didn't know that. I wanted to, like, I knew that, but I was wanting to reiterate because I've only played a wizard once and it was like completely out of the blue.
Yeah, that's why it's a big deal because we've probably discussed it before, but putting scrolls and stuff in your game so that your wizards can get, like, if you have a wizard in your game, put scrolls and whatnot around, like have that as part of the loot, because if you're not giving your wizards the chance to copy spells, you're severely limiting like one of their core features.
Yeah, like I have two wizards in my class right or in my game right now, and they suggested in character that they actually start showing each other spell books, which apparently it's really weird because I've read that a lot of wizards don't like that for some reason. And it's like to protect their power and stuff. But I was like, that's actually really smart because these people who wouldn't normally have these spells, mainly if they're archetype specific or class like school specific, they're able to look at these, write them down, and have access to them. Because it's like, well, first of all, that's actually pretty intelligent to like run around that. Two, I'm not that big of a dick. I actually think that's really impressive. And the fact that it's already written down and they can teach each other how to use it, I think that would be pretty impressive to actually see that from a party member.
Right, and one of the things that I'd really like to do, actually, specifically if you're learning a spell, like if you're a wizard and you have run into another wizard and they allow you to copy stuff out of their spell book. Normally, it says it in there when you're copying it. It's for each level of the spell. The process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold pieces. So first level is 2 hours, 50 gold. Second level is 4 hours, 100 gold. That's because you are experimenting to learn the spell. If the person is there with you, I drop it. I think both the time to write it down and maybe not the time to write it down, but at least the cost, because you're not learning. It's a lot easier to learn how to do something from somebody. Like if I've read a book written by Bruce Lee, how to fight, versus being taught how to fight by Bruce Lee. That's the best example I can think of at the spot. But so
No,
that's one thing that I do. If somebody's there, if you're a wizard and you run into another wizard and they're like, yeah, you can learn this, and then they're willing to teach you the spell, then decrease the time it takes and the cost. More specifically the cost, because the cost is the big part. Time, if you guys are somewhere where you have some downtime, then it's not that big of a deal. Taking like, all right, the wizard's going to spend, the next 2 days learning like 5 or 6 different spells. It's the cost that always eats at it. That's what prevents wizards. You're a level 2 wizard. You're like, the fact that Identify requires 100 gold piece pearl. You're like, cool, I'm level 1. How the fuck do I get a 100 gold piece pearl? Even if it's not eaten up when you cast a spell, like how do I just run into a 100 gold piece pearl? Like you have to buy it, so you need money. Being a wizard is expensive. It is the only thing that stops a wizard from being successful is money.
Yeah, that's honestly why a lot of wizards kind of stop really early is like they can't progress a lot because it's like you'll see at least to what I've seen in a lot of people's games or what I'm described at like they described to me, it's like it's so expensive that people will look at it and just stop. It's like, yeah, this costs way too much money to even cast a spell. So what's even worth it? And usually it's people who come for money, so they're able to do it or come into money of some degree. So I understand.
Yeah, that's why I think it's super 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 useful to have something in your game where you let, if they're being taught it by somebody, then it decreases the cost.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so
That's
if you're gonna force the people to spend money in your game to two wizards to transfer the spells over, decrease the cost significantly. Like it's like 10 gold, or it's like 5 gold piece per spell level or something, and the time is only like an hour per spell level. Like decrease, because then that encourages them to take different spells. And technically, casting ritual spells out of a spell book, it doesn't have to be your spell book. So if like they take different ritual spells, technically one of them can cast it out of the other spell book. So if one of them dies, now one of them has access to two spell books.
wow.
I mean, you still have to transfer it because essentially you have to understand it. But
No, that's pretty impressive.
I think I could be wrong on the ritual thing, but
I actually never have heard of it, but to be fair, I haven't heard of a lot of stuff comparatively to you, so that's actually pretty impressive. Obviously, for this, the spell save DC is 8 plus your proficiency plus intelligence modifier. Spell attack is proficiency plus the intelligence modifier. We already talked about the book.
Ritual casting is, I think, the most important part. One of the most important things of a wizard.
Honestly, like I've told you, I've actually never had the ability to really play a spellcaster before. So ritual casting is always, if I'm correct, it takes longer. It takes like up to an hour or something like that.
It takes 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay, I'm really far off then.
Plus the casting time of the spell.
Yeah, that's makes
so
sense.
So if it takes a minute to cast, then it's 11 minutes to cast as a ritual.
No, that makes sense. Ritual casting, I'm going to say that one since you brought it up. You can cast a wizard spell as a ritual if that spell has a ritual tag and you have the spell in your spell book. You do not need to have the spell prepared. That's what he was talking about. That's actually really important.
Yeah, because unlike every other class that doesn't have a spell book, the cleric can cast ritual spells. Bards, I think, can cast ritual spells. But you have to have the spell prepared. So it's one of those like, okay, I'll take alarm as a spell as a cleric. I don't know if they can get an alarm, but let's say bard, they take it as a ritual. No, artificer. I know artificer gets alarm and they can cast ritual. They're like, cool, I take alarm, but it's one of my spells, my limited spells per day that I can choose. So that kind of limits them. Whereas wizard, you never have to have a ritual spell. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Like, I think in season 2 of Critical Role, I don't think Liam's character cast it as a ritual. I think he cast Liam's tiny hut, which is like a dome. I think he cast that as a normal spell, which is kind of.
I know he's had to use it as a spell before because they were in.
They were fighting the white dragon.
For the second, actually, I'm not even that far. I remember one instance of it was when they were escaping the lizard folk, if I'm correct. It might have been Yanti, but they were under attack and they had to use it to evade getting attacked in one way. But yeah, like it's actually pretty impressive. I didn't know that, and since my new character, who's a centaur, well, no, he's not a wizard anymore. He's a sorcerer. Damn it! I was about to say that's really fucking impressive. I could use that. Never mind. That sucks. Anyway, continuing on, we have Arcane Recovery, which it states you have learned to regain some of your magical energy by studying your spellbook. Once per day, when you finish a short rest, you can choose expended spell slots to recover. The spell slots can have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your wizard level, rounded up, and none of the slots can be 6th level or higher. For example, if you have a 4th level wizard, you can recover up to 2 levels worth of spell slots. You can recover either a 2nd level spell or 2 1st level spell slots. I think that's really impressive, and the fact that it goes up to 6th level.
6th, yeah, so 5th level.
Yeah,
which
5th level
actually,
and lower.
If you remember Sorcerers, which I didn't even notice that until now, that Sorcerers can only use their spell points up to 5th level spells.
That's impressive. The fact that these guys get it way higher. Sorry, like a hair just flew off into my book. It was weird. But yeah, that's actually really cool how they get to recover that. One of my
And
friends said that he was going to do like not fourth level, just get the first level spells back because he's going to use that mostly for healing, as he's like the only he was at the time the only healer, so he's probably going to get it fixed to where he's no longer doing that, because there are a couple people who are returning to play that are able to heal now.
that just means
But
that you can't cast Wish twice in one day. Because you can't get your Wish spell back. You have to wait a day to get your Wish spell back.
yeah, and don't you have to have like roll a percentile die, and if it's like 33% or lower,
That's
then
if you. It's. We're not going to get into the whole Wish. That is. They fixed Wish in 5th edition. They made it so that GMs can't screw over players. There is one version, or one use of it. There are 3 uses. The first use is you can cast any spell of 8th level or lower, any, for any class. As per that is a nothing bad happens to you. I think it's when you do the second one, which you can do a specific, like there's a list of things you can do. If you cast it like that, I think that's where the 33%. That's where the 33% chance thing comes in. Or there's a third thing where you can something else when you wanted to do something not from this list of things that it can do as well. That also, I think, has 33%. At least the third option, at minimum, has the 33% chance of you permanently lose the ability to cast the spell.
So
I think the second as well, but I could be wrong. But at least that is at least one way of you have at least one way to use the Wish spell without the GM being able to screw you over.
So what level is True Resurrection? Isn't that like an 8th level or 7th
It's
level?
9th.
9th? Damn it. I was like, I always thought that was a 8th level for some reason. So I was like, you could spam that pretty well. But no, never mind.
Yeah,
you could still do
level. That's probably why they made it specifically 8th level or lower.
Yeah, like there are a couple things that are close.
But I mean, you could still cast Resurrection,
Resurrection.
And you don't need the spell component cost.
If I'm correct, technically, doesn't Gentle Repose keep it to where like if like, because I know Resurrection, it's 1 minute, right? Or is it a day? I don't have the ability to look at my phone right now.
For how long before you can cast?
How long you have to? How long that the person that is deceased?
Oh,
how long they can be dead
You're
for?
thinking Revivify, which is the 2nd level version.
Yeah, there's like one where it's like
Revivify is they have to have died within the past minute.
Okay, so Resurrection
is the 7th level.
I'm trying to remember like what the hell it is, because like you have to be dead
it's
a certain
amount
amount
of time.
Like
year or something.
Yeah, because if I'm correct, True Resurrection is
or months or something like that. And you still need the body, or at least most of the body. True Res, you don't even need the body.
Yeah, because that goes up to like name. If I'm correct, it goes up to like 100 years or something like that.
Something like that. I don't remember, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's how they fixed Wish, is by making it so that, because nothing would piss you off more than getting a wizard up to 17th level. You pick Wish and you're like, fuck yeah, and you cast it once and the GM is like, cool, this happens, your character dies, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, I want to be immortal, and the guy's like, cool, you're immortal, now you turn to stone, because grognards from older editions, if you're watching this, fuck you.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's always been like some weird thing that I've always been told. It's like, if a player's pissing you off and wants to be immortal, just turn him to stone. It's like, yo, that's fucked. Because doesn't it take a wish spell to fix that?
Flesh to stone, or stone to flesh. God, why am I young? Stone to flesh would get you back, but still, it's still bullshit.
Yeah, it's just wasting. At 2nd level, you also get to choose your Arcane Tradition, so your school of magic that you want to get into. You get features at 2nd, 6th, 10th, and 14th level. You get your ability score improvements at 4th level, 8th level, 12th, 16th, and 19th level. At 18th level, you get Spell Mastery. You have achieved such mastery over certain spells, you can cast them at will. Choose a 1st level Spell Wizard or a 2nd level Wizard spell. Wow, a Spell Wizard? That I just realized it's something really bad.
Yeah.
Wow. 1st or 2nd level Wizard spell that are in your spell book. You can cast those spells at the lowest level without expending a spell slot when you have them prepared. If you want to cast either spell at a higher level, you must expend a spell slot as normal. By spending 8 hours in study, you can exchange one or both of your spells for different spells of the same levels. That I did not know. I've actually
I just want to make sure that you said first and second level spell, not
oh
or.
first and I thought it was first or.
No,
Wow,
it's and. So
I
you can take
misread
a
that.
first level spell and a second level spell, which is nice,
That is nice.
especially when in conjunction with, like you take shield with, and you're an school of abjuration. One of their abilities is, whenever you cast a abjuration spell, you get like a shield of temporary hit points, which isn't a whole lot.
But still, that can work for you.
Whenever you cast abjuration spell first level, higher the ward gains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell. Two temporary hit points at will. I mean, they don't stack.
But still, it'll help.
But I mean, if there's you're throwing out, especially shield, because like you're a wizard, you're like fuck it, shield. That's my reaction every round, and not have to worry about eating spells. Yeah,
That's still pretty useful. I'm not gonna lie.
So yeah.
At 20th level, you get something called signature spells. You gain mastery over two powerful spells and cast them with little effort. Choosing two third-level wizard spells in your spellbook as your signature spells, you always have these spells prepared. They don't count against a number of spells you have prepared. You can cast each of them once at third level without expending a spell slot. When you do so, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. If you want to cast another spell at a higher level, or cast either spell at a higher level, you must expend a spell slot as normal. So basically, just like the first one, but third level.
Well, sort of. You become you become a 5th level warlock.
Yeah,
Effectively.
It's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Like I haven't actually read the wizard in a long time, so being able to refresh on this, like I'm actually having something to look forward to when I play this. God damn it! I thought of it was a wizard again. I'm looking forward to playing a wizard. I will say that
at some point.
Yeah, whenever I decide to. I'm trying to learn spellcasting classes, so it's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie.
Same.
You need to relearn how to play entirely.
I would say the big thing too is to remember that. So, how this is kind of into the nitty gritty of it, but at first level you have a spell book containing 6 first level wizard spells of your choice. So wizards start with 6 spells that they know at first level, which is at least 2 more than every other casting class. And every level they learn 2 more of a level that they can cast. So at second level you pick 2 more first level spells. At third level you can pick 2 second level or whatever. You can pick second or first level. At 5th level you can pick third, second, or first. So you'd always want to do the highest level you can pick from.
And this is also you're able to learn from scrolls and other spellbooks technically, right? You can also use those.
Exactly.
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
I think
Who's a wizard in my game?
at minimum, but level 20 you have, I want to say 44 spells in your spellbook.
That's impressive, actually.
Which is my math might be wrong. I haven't done the actual math on it. But you start at first level, so you wouldn't. Yeah. So you have 4 plus start. Yeah. So, 44. So you have 19 more spells than I think even bards, who I think get the highest with 25 known spells. And well, that's before their other stuff, because they get some other. They can add more known spells depending on. I think they actually have 29, maybe. I don't know. Might count into that. I don't know how theirs works, but still. And that's you're not limited to that. You can also be like, cool, I'm just gonna add these spells to my spell book. I mean, that's why when you get high enough to be able to cast 9th level spells, you start taking only 9th level spells. Because it's going to cost you a lot. Like, it's one of those, like, efficiency-wise, it's going to cost you a lot less money if you just take spells of the highest level you can cast every time you level.
Oh, I believe it.
But, I mean, my wizard, like, cast Phantom Steed, which is a 3rd level spell, as a ritual. We were able to travel across, like, it only lasts an hour. But I was able to. The GM allowed me to cast it in such a way that I would cast it. I would start casting it as a ritual, so that by the time the first one it ended, the next one would pop out, and then we'd spend like a real short period of time switching over the harnesses to the new one. So we traveled the full. They have a. You can either do 10 miles an hour or 13 miles an hour.
Wow. Huh.
So, in 8 hours, it's a stupid amount of. You could either travel 80 miles, comfortably in a day, which is almost 4 times what you can normally travel. Like, and just
That's
by
impressive.
casting that spell as a ritual, which defeats the whole purpose of the whole. That's how I pissed off my brothers, because I had that, which meant that random encounters weren't likely to happen because we were just blowing by them so fast, and
A
then
bunch of werewolves trying to attack you. No, they don't.
where'd they go? Like, just being chased by werewolves, and they're like, "Fucking Christ!" And then Liam's tiny hut. So then at night for 8 hours, I'd be like, and boop. We have a dome protecting us, so we'd always get our long rests. Like, wizards are great. Break the
Yeah, I
shit
just
out of
like
things.
I just got to episode 72 of the first season of Critical Role, and at this point, Scanlan, which is Sam Riegel's character, he's been using Mordenkainen's Magnificent Mansion for a while, but seeing how that can break so much of a DM's choices of, hey, guess what? I can attack you while you're sleeping. And you can just negate that by making sure that nothing can attack you because you're on a pocket dimension. It's so sad because I'm looking through the comments and I completely forgot that there was that Rakshasha that was hunting them. And then all of a sudden they decide to sleep in Whitestone and it's attacking them. And it's impressive how just those types of spells can throw a wrench in someone's ideas.
Right.
It's funny, actually. I now have to be more careful with what I do with my wizard being around in my game.
Yeah, but yes and no. Find creative ways. Like Rakshasa, especially, are smart enough to find ways around it.
Oh yeah, they can.
Never. That's. I don't think you're going to, but this is for people watching. Never penalize your players for outsmarting you.
Oh dude, they have outsmarted me so much in
Like
this campaign.
like
Dude,
that's the thing that pisses me off is there's so many GMs who take it personally. Like I will a little bit, and somebody does something, I'm like, fuck you. All right, go. Yep, no, go ahead. Yep, well played. I'm angry but respect it.
yeah, like my characters, dude, these guys, I threw hill giants at them, two of them, which again, they're Gesalt, so they're super powerful. Even though they're second level, they destroyed these guys in less than 2 rounds each. And I did knock the same guy, one guy out twice, and another character out once. And the entire thing is that they absolutely destroyed these hill giants because they're rolling super high. They don't also have high AC. They have a 13 for AC,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like they're destroying these things and they're out of game taunting me. And so I had made this entire thing about them helping a stone giant find their stolen child because
Right.
the opposing forces, I'll call it, stole the child to have the stone giants help them build a cave for their hideout. Well, the stone giants ended up getting caught. They ended up going through this entire thing where the opposing force had some goblins like perch in front of the cave as a early warning system. Well, they got through them very easily, and the sergeant of the opposing force ran deeper into the cave, contacted the necromancer. The necromancer raised the zombies or the goblins, which turned into zombies. And these zombies, I have never ran a combat session so long because the undead fortitude for the goblin zombie in the undead bestiary that I have is 10, and the goblin zombie has a +2 to Constitution, and I was rolling 8s, 9s, and higher almost every roll. And it was impressive seeing how my players are pissed off at me. I've knocked people unconscious several times, and I'm not meaning to do this. This was just like a off the cuff, like you guys blew through that a little bit fast. I'm gonna like give it a little bit more heat. And then at the same time, one of the players decided to run deeper into the cave, into which they saw 6 hobgoblins and a troll. Well, guess who decided to piss off the troll and get hit immediately, knocking him unconscious? Well, the stone giant's also with them, so he helped like mop the floor out of everyone. But these characters, well, the players, I should say, all were angry at me and said, "We're going to stop taunting you because you're getting pissed off at us." And I was like, "No, I'm just trying to challenge you guys, because every time I set up an encounter, because of action economy, you guys have everything against me. I'm trying to run something equal against you guys, but you guys have they still have one action per person, but they're dealing so much damage, or they're able to help each other so effectively. I don't have the ability to really do that like they do, because they're thinking, oh, hey, I can attack this one character, this one enemy, this specific way, or they're helping each other get advantage by flanking. The rogues are sitting here like sneak attacking everything. So I'm trying to throw stronger and stronger enemies. At one point, I threw an enemy in that had 200 HP and a high AC, and they were rolling so high. Like this character basically was getting absolutely destroyed, and I'm just like, what the fuck? I can't even do anything against this. So yeah, like I don't like penalizing my players, but I will absolutely throw tougher things at them in that case.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok that's like, so it's fighting something, and it's like, oh, and with that I do 44 points of damage or something. It's like, wow, nice. And he like looks down, and it's like the enemy has like 56 hit points, and they're like, mm-hmm, and then they just add a 1.
Yeah, I've actually done that. I'm pretty sure one of my players fucking lied to me. So basically what happened is there's a player who was unable to make it that day, and he takes his money fairly seriously. So the other character, because the player knew he wasn't there, so he was like, I'm going to hold on to the money as a player. But in character, he said, I'm not going to give them their money. Like, he just blatantly said, I'm not giving you money. So that character that is gone responded aggressively towards that. And he's like, well, why did you do that? I was like, well, in character, you told him he's not going to get his money. He's going to react that way. And he's like, well, his player's not there. I was like, you're saying something that you know his character is going to get upset at. Why are you going to like complain? Well, I end up telling the player's like, no, that's completely understandable. I would have probably been more angry at the fact that he did that in general, even though the entire purpose was understandable. It's like, you got to be careful what you're saying, even inside. So excuse me, it's impressive to see how quickly even players can screw over other players. Because it's like, this, my friend, because I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I was doing the math of his HP, and I was doing the math of the HP for the player character I was running. And at one point, he's like, no, I'm at 1 HP. Everyone in the Discord's like, no, the fuck you're not. Like, you're lying. Like, we're paying attention. You're not at 1 HP. And I was like, you know what, fine, whatever. You beat him. Doesn't make any sense, but you beat him. I'm pretty sure he was just salty that I finally knocked his character unconscious using a character that he dislikes very personally. So it's just like, yeah, you deserved it. But he earned the respect of the other guy by dropping him to 1 HP. So I thought it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of PvP either. So it was also out of character. They're like shitting on this player consistently. And it's just like, I'm not a big fan of that. So
yeah,
even if it's like he's messing around a lot and doing stupid stuff, talk to the player and try to fix it like out of game. Like, that's what I believe in. To which they have talked to him once, and he's trying to get better. And then the same character who he fought is like going insane because he's a necromancer wizard, and he's put like, I gave them a box of holding as a joke that was invisible, so I wasn't expecting this guy to harvest bones and put it into the bone. He calls it the bone box now. But this guy is going crazy and trying to steal everyone's bones. And it's like, dude, like, you're going psychotic. Like, this is the other player's character. Now it's you. Is there like a psychotic like virus that's going around and affecting everyone slowly? So it's very weird. But yeah, like, they do what they want, and I react accordingly. So
yeah, that's the cool thing about being a wizard. Getting it back to subject.
Sorry.
Back on tangent. That if you build your wizard well, I'm not gonna say correctly because there's more than one way to build a wizard, but if you build your wizard well, you can have it's like Batman, the Batman that everybody thinks of. You know, it's a plan for everything. Like, if a wizard got jumped by a fighter, then yeah, most likely the fighter's gonna win. But if the wizard jumped the fighter, then there's a good chance the wizard's gonna win. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
So
the wizard in like all classes, if you play them well, you're more than likely going to come out on top. And yeah, it's going to sometimes require some like a lot of intelligence or at least wisdom as a player to think of ways that your character would react in a way that, or even not react, but like you're thinking, hey, I have to think of a certain way to defeat this thing to really get past something. Like, say there's an obstruction in the way and they're unable to really do something about it, so they end up blowing up the obstruction. It's like thinking outside the box type of thing as a player also helps. And say your wizard ends up finding a group that is sneaking around, and it's like probably part of their bounty that they currently have to deal with. Sneaking up on them and like fireballing them is a very viable option, or using some sort of other magic to make sure that they're unable to really do anything.
That's why giving them access to more spells than they normally get. If you don't do it, you're screwing them over. Because if you remember reading it, they don't get much.
No, they don't.
They don't get like they get their archetype abilities. They get their
Arcane Recovery.
Arcane Recovery, their signature spell, and the other spell. Their level 18 thing and their level 20. That's it.
That's it. It's all
like
arcane.
They don't get it's all spell based. Everything they get is based on spells. Either getting them back or getting more usage out of the ones that they already have. So if you're not giving them access to more spells, then it doesn't even have to be something relevant to what's going on. Like, what if you notice a lot of if you look through a lot of the modules, sometimes they'll throw in random spell books or scrolls or something. Like, it doesn't hurt to throw in, even if it's a spell that they already have. You'd be like, oh no, because if it's a scroll, then they could just trade it. Like, I'll trade you scroll for scroll, like, type of thing.
Yeah, go to a merchant or something like that. It's like, hey, look, I got this scroll. And it's like, oh yeah, like I'll trade it, and you know what? Pay me like X amount of money. And
right, exactly. And then that's
like bartering.
Exactly, like $5, restocking fee or something, 5 gold restocking fee. They'll have to vouch for it, but like, yep, this is in fact what you said it was. And then 5 gold for the whatever, and now they have, or maybe even it could go towards the cost of, maybe they sell it, goes towards the cost of it. Like, it's all dependent on it, and so it's give wizards time to shine. I think too many games are wizards have to prep for everything, not having no idea what's going to happen. So if you give them the opportunity, that's why like having them be all of the intelligence based skills, and if they know what they're going up against, it gives them chance to plan. So
like
if you're going up against goblins, you're like, all right, they're weak. So area of effect spells are obviously going to be useful. But if you're going up against giants, then you're not going to want to use something where they get strength as a resistance. You want something that targets intelligence or charisma or wisdom, like the lower 3 stats. You don't want to so it's give them time to prepare.
Yeah, like one thing that I look at in terms of this is that the other classes kind of naturally come into their stuff. Like the clerics obviously have the divine magic, so they're naturally coming in through that. Druids have the nature magic, so they're naturally getting that. Bards are just basically, I was going to say horny soothsayers, and then there's the sorcerers who literally naturally have magic. The wizard's really the only one who has to really work to gain magic. And that's the thing that I really enjoy about it, is that if you really help out a wizard, you're helping their like time and energy being spent make it worth it type of thing. Right. So pretty impressive. Like I completely I actually, not gonna lie, I have used a spell scroll so far in my campaign, and it was a level 1 spell that my wizard didn't naturally have as a necromancer, and I forgot what it was, but he was able to he ended up like trying to transcribe. I was like, you don't necessarily have the money for it, but he ended up getting money and paid for it. Excuse me. And he now has it as a part of his list. And he's like, I completely forget this like that type of thing happens, because he's never included it. And I was like, yeah, like, thinking about that, I was like, I I now looking back, I enjoy seeing how us talking about it and seeing how it has benefited in the past, how that can work in the future also. So like
Yeah,
I really enjoy that.
yeah. This is one of the cool things about me kind of being active on tabletop Twitter is because that's something from like Omega Jones, who is the critical bard. That he pointed out, and I'm like, oh fuck, that's a good point. Like, so I could take this kind of wisdom that I find on the internet from people and like pass it on essentially, and
That's kind of what we're hoping to
I mean,
do also.
even right, even 44 spells may seem like a lot, but you don't understand how many spells wizards get. Like that's 44 is. I think at some point I looked it up on a website, and so this could be wrong, and I think it's like almost 300 spells. So that's like
So I think you're right because I think it's around there because my friend Ed also did the math. It took him like he spent a couple days just casually doing it, not focused on it, and he did math and it was around that also.
so that's 44 spells is a sixth of the spells that they can know, which is a big deal. But other classes don't get don't get as many options, so they're like, oh, what am I gonna pick? Like, so wizards have so many choices, and so that's why you want to give it to them. It's their magic is their resource. You want to give them access to magic, and so. But I love wizards. Wizards are fun, especially you want to build a character that does magical research. Boom, wizard. You want to build a character that is can be an entertainer. Boom, wizard. Like it fits. It can fit with anything. I hate if you want to be a gladiator. Fuck it, wizard. Be an evocationist. Be an abjurationist. Be whatever. Like anything works. The big thing is that I think the big difference is I think sorcerers probably don't get access to armor either. I think they're the only other ones that get a D6 hit die, but
Yeah,
and probably don't get access to armor, but they have a lot more specific damage output.
I can look it up right
You
here.
could. So, like that's the big thing is you can get a drop on a wizard or sorcerer, and I like sorcerers. I just don't really have interest in playing a sorcerer right now, but you get a drop on them and they're screwed.
No armor and a D6.
Yeah.
They actually
So
have all the same proficiencies in terms of
they
weapons
get
also.
Constitution for their saving throw.
Oh, I was talking about weapons.
No, I know. I think wizards
Oh,
don't.
okay.
I think wizards get
Yeah, they get Constitution, Charisma. Wizards get Intelligence and
wisdom, intelligence, and wisdom.
yeah,
So sorcerers are better at con saves, which means they're better at concentration spells. So,
useful.
but yeah, that's wizards.
Yeah.
You're doing the out, but
Yeah, that is just like my friend said. Wizards. I thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like and comment and all that jazz. Share this out to your friends. We really appreciate you guys watching. My name is Brandon Wynn,
my name is Kalvin.
and we'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.
Peace. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. And now you get to listen to the outro song. And that's the outro song. Yeah.